Let's settle this. Who has the best away kit in the Premier League? Hey there! This season has seen some really great looking away kits, but in my opinion, the best one is the Manchester United third kit. I love the retro vibe. The whole kit is very aesthetically pleasing, so I just have to make a custom Funko Pop of it. But which player will I be creating? I wasn't really sure who to go with, but one of my lovely viewers gave me some suggestions. And the player I've chosen is Alejandro Garnacho. He is a super exciting player to watch, and he's been a real positive force for United in what has been quite a difficult season. So, let's get started. I'm using this Pedri figure. I got a very good deal as the box was damaged, but that's no problem, as I'll be making my own box anyway. I think this pose is a really good choice for Garnacho. It's like he's running down the wing. To make it easier to paint, I need to remove the head. To do this, I just pop the pop into a pot of hot water for a few minutes. The head should pop right off. Before I paint anything, I'm sanding off the badge and the name, as I don't want the outline to be noticeable under the paint. This stuff is liquid mask. I'm using it on the football, as I don't want to get any paint on it. It is pretty good for masking off shapes like these. Now that is sorted, it is time to prime! I'm using Vallejo Mecha Grey Primer. This is not good. There's like some water still inside the figure, and it's coming out from under the shirt and totally ruining the primer coat. I'm going to have to get all that water out and dried off. Ugh, it's so annoying. I really don't want to spend more time priming. It's kind of boring, but it has to be done. Now that is sorted, I am spraying on some Vallejo Model Air White. I'm just going to spray the whole figure white so that I'll only need to mask around the shorts. I know it doesn't look like anything's happening, but there is definitely white paint on the model. While the body dries, I am airbrushing the face with Vallejo Premium Airbrush Colour in Flesh Tone. Back to the body. I'm airbrushing the shorts in this anthracite grey colour. Let's see how this looks. Hopefully it hasn't got under the masking tape. Well, there's a few little areas that need touched up. Oh, whoops! It's fine, nothing a little bit of hand painting can't fix. And, speaking of hand painting, I'm also painting the skin by hand. The first coat layer looks a bit naff, but it'll be alright after a couple more layers. I promise. Guess what? I'm redoing the head. I just wasn't happy with how the hair looks on the Pedri Pop. Alejandro makes sure his hair is perfect, so it would be a disservice to not try and recreate his iconic hair. Thankfully, I have a spare Pedri Pop. I will be using Milliput to sculpt the new fringe. Milliput is a 2-part putty that cures hard after a few hours. I want the fringe sections to be fairly equal, so I'm using the guidelines on my mat to cut each one from the piece that I rolled out. I've tapered each piece, and I'm just going to place them on the head to see how they will look. Yeah, I don't really like it, so I'm starting again. There's also these gaps which I need to smooth out with the Milliput. This time I'm spacing the bits of fringe further apart, which will hopefully look a bit more Garnacho-y. Yes, that is totally a word, Garnacho-y. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the spacing. So now I just need to blend them in with the rest of the hair. I'm using this silicone tool, which I have no clue what it's actually meant for, but it works great with this putty. You won't believe what I have finally purchased. Yep, I got me some paint filters. They were almost £10 for two, so they better exceed my expectations, or else I'm gonna say some very bad words. They actually are a big improvement. I have way less paint blockages. I really should have got these a long time ago. Anyway, here's the first head I sprayed, and here is the sculpted version. Right, I need to do a bit of masking before I can spray that hair. I left a little space under the fringe to make it easier to mask off the face. It's still pretty fiddly though. I'm also using this very flexible thin masking tape to form the shape of the hairline. For some reason, the only correct brown I have is this model colour one, which is too thick for the airbrush, so I'm thinning it down with some Viejo airbrush thinner. I want the sides and back to look shaved, so I've sprayed a light coat, and to protect this I'm going to mask over it. Oh, I messed up. I didn't let this dry long enough before masking over it. Also, I did the spraying the wrong way round. I should have sprayed the main bit of hair first, so now I have to redo it. Yay! Finally, I can get spraying this hair properly. I used a different colour of masking tape for the bit that has to look shaved. I have to be careful here not to overspray this bit, otherwise it'll ruin the effect I'm going for. Let's see how it turned out. I just love pulling off masking tape. I'm pretty happy with it, but there is a couple of areas that need touched up. That's better. I just remembered that I haven't painted the boots. Alejandro wears Nike Mercurials in various different colours. I went with the red ones though, as a nod to the home kit. Also, the red looks so good with the white and grey. I'm using Viejo Game Colour in bloody red. Now that is done, I can pull off this liquid mask. Oh, well done, liquid mask. You did a good job. And back to the spray booth we go. This time I'm spraying over a few coats of Viejo Premium Satin Varnish. This will help protect the paint when I start applying the decals. And speaking of decals, here they are. I make the decals in Affinity Designer and I print them off onto Hayes Waterslide decal paper. So, I've got my water, I've got my kitchen roll. It's time to get these decals applied. I'm using something called Microset to help the decals adhere better to the figure. I absolutely love applying decals. Some of them take a long time to get in the right place though. For the various company logos, I will usually be able to find those online. Also, the team badges are pretty easy to find as well. There are other designs that I need to make from scratch though, like this flag design on the back of the shirt. I recreated it in Affinity Designer and I spent quite a while doing it, but you won't even be able to see the design properly as it is such a tiny decal. Oh well. The Premier League has a lightning bolt design on the shirt numbers. Luckily, I was able to find some images of these online, which I used to create those decals. For the shorts, I had to use white decal paper, as the designs on the shorts are all white on grey. That means I have to get the grey on the decals to match as close to the grey of the shorts. This is actually really difficult, as my Epson EcoTank printer is terrible at accurate colours. I will definitely be going back to Canon when this printer gives up. For the boots, I already had that air decal, which I made for my Mbappe custom. I just had to adjust the colours a little, so that was a nice time save. The decals are almost finished. I just need to add the eyes and eyebrows. To create the eyebrows, I actually drew them on a photo of Garnacho in Affinity Designer. To get rid of the shininess of the decals, I am airbrushing over some more of that satin varnish. And now I can attach the head back on. I can't heat the figure up, so I just cut the neck post to fit. I should probably do this before I start painting the figure, but I just always forget. Finally, the head's back on. But I still need to create a box. As usual, I do this in Affinity Designer. I print out the designs onto some nice presentation card. And I'm laminating the sheets to waterproof and strengthen them. Once that's done, I cut everything out. And to make it easier to fold the card, I use this thing called a bone folder. It will score the card without ripping it. It makes creating folds so easy. I reuse the windows of any unneeded pop boxes. I run it under the hot water for a bit to help remove the cardboard and glue. And then I put it all together with good old double-sided sellotape. I reused the bubble from the Pedri Pop, and with that, the figure is finished! Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have any suggestions on who you would like to see me create next, please feel free to leave a comment. Now here's the final result.